The Plymouth Manufacturers Group, or PMG as it's widely known, is an informal network of over 60 manufacturers from across Plymouth and its surrounding area. The group focuses on sharing best practice amongst its members, while also promoting their sector to the outside world. Amongst the variety of activities to support these aims, the PMG's Christmas Lecture is proving to be a popular addition to the Plymouth business calendar. The event, now in its third year, is designed to be inspirational and thought-leading, not only for PMG members, but also for students of engineering, the wider business community, and stakeholders in the Plymouth manufacturing sector. This year is particularly special, as the PMG is celebrating the 40th anniversary of its formation. So it seemed only fitting to invite the distinguished Sir John Parker GBE and former President of the Royal Academy of Engineering to be the keynote speaker at this year's Christmas Lecture.
Well, first of all, I think it is important to get the theme of leadership across. And I've been fortunate to have had a very, very long industrial journey, and even more fortunate to spend it in a range of different sectors in industry, but always with engineering somewhere running in the bloodstream of all the companies that I've been involved in. Well, I have described tonight in the lecture my 8 characteristics of the good leader, and clearly those are gleaned, if you like, from many, many years of experience in working with a great range of people, and as I said, over a range of industries. But I think integrity as a leader is an absolute cornerstone. Secondly, you have to be strategic, so the communications of that strategy to your people is absolutely key. So someone once said that communications skills are the sister of good leaders. And I think those are just 2 that I would pick out. And there are others. For example, good leaders are good listeners. They listen to their teams, they build their teams, they're supportive of their teams, and they're not top down. There's an old saying that you should avoid of kissing up and kicking down. And I've seen that in leaders whom I would not consider to be great leaders. So there are many characteristics that I've talked about tonight, and I hope they've given people something to think about if they haven't already thought about those particular characteristics before. I think highly intelligent people that don't have good emotional intelligence have a big struggle to be a good leader. But those that are gifted with emotional intelligence alongside good intelligence generally can get there much faster. Those that may lack emotional intelligence, I think that through coaching and mentoring and creating awareness that there's another dimension beyond just being highly intelligent, your ability to relate to people, to communicate with people, to bring people with you, to build teams, and not to seek the credit for yourself, for example. And I always say to our young people who are aspiring leaders, please leave your ego at home. It'll be much more effectively managed there than if you bring it to work. Some of the very difficult situations that I personally found myself in, turning around the Harland shipyard in the 1980s in Northern Ireland with hunger strikes and bombs going off and bullets flying, was probably the toughest job I've ever done. And I learned a huge number of lessons through that process, because every day was a new surprise, and you didn't know exactly how things were going to be when you got to your workplace. And we even had a bomb go off in one of our very sophisticated naval ships that was building. So you have to often, in those situations, reach decisions sometimes instantaneously. You're often relying on gut instinct, and you don't have time to analyze and risk manage it in the normal way. So you have to lead from the front, keep calm, and your troops will follow you. I think regional clusters that, for example, you have here, and to discover that the Plymouth Manufacturing Group is the largest engineering cluster of manufacturing south of the Midlands. Now that's quite powerful, and the important thing for the region then is to keep absolutely driving to be world class in all we do, in product development, in manufacturing techniques, in the adoption to the digital world that we're in, which is such a big impact on manufacturing, digital engineering, additive manufacturing, etc. That's changing the face of manufacturing and changing the competitiveness, changing the productivity, changing your ability to bring products to market very quickly. So there's no reason why this region should not, particularly with that core of companies and skills and university on the doorstep and good technical colleges and so on. There's absolutely no reason why you can't have a world-class operation from the southwest. Yes, you're a bit isolated in transport terms, but products travel quite easily, and that should not be a barrier. I said tonight that I never regretted for one day having studied engineering, and has taken me on a journey that I could never have, in my wildest dreams, forecast where it would take me. And that's the same, I think, for any other competent young engineer that goes out. The world is your oyster, and the world of engineering today is much, much broader based than it certainly was when I started. Engineering's ubiquitous. It's all around us. We don't recognize it. The general public doesn't recognize it. But when you think of the idea of a driverless car, when you think potentially of a pilotless plane, when you think of electric propulsion for aircraft rather than turbo engines as today, which might be the case in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, it is such an exciting area for young people to contemplate. So I'd have no hesitation. You will never be out of a job.